The term real we, that's REAL-WE, the term real we is intended to express the authentic ontological ground of interhuman connection that occurs in the rising moment of social movements, in the creation of the parallel universe, and sometimes even in response to natural disasters or other extraordinary occurrences. The real we is actually real in the sense that it expresses the palpable mutuality of presence that gives to true mutual recognition its substantial character, its fullness or weight. In the book, the term appears mainly in chapter 7 on politics as the struggle over who we are, and is meant to contrast with the false we that describes the empty or absent interiority of imaginary collective identities, often exemplified by nationalism, skin color, and blood relations. So the false we, I described inflated patriotism as an example of the false we, where everyone imagines we're going to make America great again, because it's somehow this thing called America, an imaginary, has deflated and we're going to reinflate it, make it great again. The perfect collective as opposed to the perfect other as an individual. And, or, you know, the Nazi rallies, the Nuremberg rallies, where Hitler is in the front generating images of a gigantic we, the German people, the Nazi party, the swastikas get bigger and bigger. Everything is inflated to try and make it really full finally and overwhelmingly there, but it's empty. Actually, it's empty of the loving mutuality that is true interconnectedness, true human vulnerability to one another, and actually a denial of that longing for fear of the humiliation that would accompany it. So the outer self, like as in the case of a narcissistic individual, the outer self, the false self becomes a false we that is blown up and up and up and up and up, trying to become impenetrable, the perfect false we, you might say. The real we is the opposite of that. It's when, through a ricochet among us, we arise from our authentic ground into public space and become a force for liberation of each other through redemption of each other's longing for authentic mutual connection. And that's when the authentic ground that we actually are can receive social expression. And it's, as I say, it's often in the rising period of a social movement, but it can be from a natural disaster. As I talk about in the book, the San Francisco earthquake of 1989, where people suddenly became human, completely human. Newscasters crying on their shows because the Bay Bridge had fallen down, people jumping out to direct traffic, breaking through the barrier of the street sidewalk separation, an outpouring of everyone suddenly emerging to become present to each other was absolutely thrilling experience. The mayor, I may have said this before, the mayor is saying, let's get back to normal, let's get back to normal. Nobody wants to get back to normal. The secret is we finally have discovered each other as a human community, and it's a great, wonderful feeling. And it was painful to get back to normal and return to going to work, taking the muni, going home, watching TV, getting stoned, whatever, all that. was for a period overcome in a thrilling upsurge of a real sense of we. We exist. I am not alone in my little private booth.